my name's Leonora, and this is my review for Clockwork Princess. I'll just give you sort of like a quick overview of my non-spoilery thoughts, although there will be spoilers for previous books in the Infernal Devices series. So if you haven't read those, you've been warned. So Clockwork Princess is the final book in the Infernal Devices series, and it is not just the best Cassandra Clare book I have ever read. It is one of my favorite books that I have read in like a year. I really enjoyed this book. The beginning's definitely a little slow, but I just felt that the ending was so well done, and it's sort of a badly kept secret that while I definitely enjoy Cassandra Clare, I don't think that she's the best writer out there. But this book pretty much changed my mind because she showed that she had potential to write the kind of ending which I think is so hard to do, one where you feel satisfied with how it closed, but you still have a lot of emotions. It was the sort of feeling that I got from the bittersweet ending of The Return of the King, and I love Lord of the Rings, so that's some of the highest praise that I can give a book. I love Tessa in this book, I love Will in this book, I love Jem, I love Jessamine. She doesn't get a lot of screen time, but, you know, you do see character development, and I just think this book represents everything that Cassandra Clare can be, could be, and, well, look, I've got it right here, so that she is. I would definitely, 10 out of 10, recommend this series. Maybe not 10 out of 10, but this series, you should read it if you haven't already. I'm going to just get into some spoilery bits, so bye, if you haven't read this book. I will say that the first bit, I kept on getting really annoyed with all the letters back and forth from the consul to various people. I do get that it's really historically accurate because, you know, Charlotte is in a very unhistorically accurate position for her time. There definitely would have been people judging her and judging every little move that she made. But they just sort of took me out of the story. It felt like it chopped the story up just a little too much for me. I loved what happened with Jessamine at the end. I have not really been a big fan of Jessamine in the first two books, but we do sort of see how she comes a bit full circle, and when she decides as a ghost to protect the London Institute because she didn't do that in life, it hit me where I live, gave me the feelings, and I already had a lot of feelings by the end. I was really glad that Tessa ended up with Will. I think I said in my Clockwork Prince review that, you know, just like puts her with somebody, please, because I hate love triangles, and there definitely was a bit of that at the beginning, like, God's sakes, pick one of them, ha! But I was happy that she ended up with Will at the end, and I'd be lying if I said that I did not enjoy the scene in the cave cell thing where she was being kept by the guy whose name I forget. Mormain. Oh, that means dead hand. I just realized that. Also, I just loved everything about Magnus in this book. He was so funny. He had all of these really witty remarks. I especially loved when he discovered Tessa and Will after their night of debauchery. I don't know if that's how you say it. Debauchery. I pronounce all my words like they're French. It's not my fault. Also, I cannot say how much I prefer Tessa to Clary, and that just kept on going right through this book because she's just so much more take charge. She's a lot more resourceful than Clary, and you frequently saw that, although she did not have sort of like as big of a part at the end as I would have liked. I do get that, like, harnessing the power of an angel is sort of a big thing, but I really like it when people stab things. Like just specifically stab things, and punch things, and just generally be Black Widow. Anyway, I also loved the way that, like, you got that tie between Ithuriel, because he was in this, And he also plays a role in the Mortal Instruments series, if you haven't read the Mortal Instruments series. It isn't a big role, but he is sort of mentioned, a little more than mentioned. But it's just nice having those little things that tie the series to get the series together. Although I do have a question for, of course, with his role in the Mortal Instruments series, he's just like an angel. He isn't in like some clockwork pendant or something. So when Tessa inhabited him or became him or whatever, did she free him? Is he still in the pendant? I don't know how that works. I sort of wish that would have been more clarified. Is the reason why he was in the Mortal Instruments, was he weakened by his time in the pendant? I just have a lot of ethereal questions, and it's sort of random because, he isn't really a very important character. But I have so many questions about him. Now, let's just talk about the end, because that ending was just punch to the nose, punch to the stomach, punch to the throat. I'm down. I'm down. I can't survive in this world any longer. It's just... I really liked the ending. So you do see Will and Tessa get together. Yes, my ship has sailed. I actually came home. I had been reading this on the way to the store, and I came home, and I just started yelling, my ship has sailed, because Will and Tessa are so cute together. But then you sort of, when Jem decides to become a silent brother, I sort of thought that was coming based off something that somebody says in a book in the Mortal Instruments series. But when he actually decides to do it, and he comes in, and he's fighting, and at first, there are some people who recognize him, Will recognize him, but Cecily doesn't, and I just had all these feelings, he's with them, but he's not with them, and just... It hit me over my head with the feelings. It really did. But then at the end, when you had the epilogue, and you saw Tessa in the modern day, and she was remembering sort of all of her life, and just she had that almost like a flashback to when Will died, that also broke me. But then, when you had Jem coming up to meet her on the bridge, first off, that whole thing with the bridge, just we'll meet there on the same day every year, it broke my heart. I mean, my heart was already broken, but it broke it even more. It was broken in 2 pieces before, then it was broken in 4 pieces. And when she was just on that bridge in the present day, and Jem was walking up to her, and she was like, I can be with him now. As much as I have said that I hated love triangles, and so by extension I sort of hated this one, that moment there, just, my heart was in a million pieces. It's never gonna be the same. Never. Anyway, I'm really hoping that we get to see more of Tessa in the present day, in the continuation of the Mortal Instruments series, and in whatever the series that starts with Lady Midnight is called. I'm currently in the middle of City of Heavenly Fire. I forget all of the names for these books. And I am really hoping that she'll have a cameo or something. She's been name-dropped a few times, and I don't think she's going to have a cameo, but I can keep my fingers crossed. I'm also really excited for the series with her kids, because there's a sneak preview from that, or maybe it was just a story from, it was told from Magnus' point of view, so maybe it was from the Magnus Fame thing. Either way, I'm really looking forward to seeing her and Will as parents, because they'd just be such cool parents. And I'm definitely rereading this as soon as I have time, because just that ending, there are not a lot of endings that affected me in the way that this ending did. So, would I recommend this book? Absolutely. I mean, it depends on who you are. I wouldn't recommend this to, my dad, but in general, I would recommend it to people who I think would